Yeah, I'm originally from Germany, so I came to the US when I was 26 years old. Good old American dream story. So I came with two suitcases, $1,500 in my pocket. Never been to the US, didn't know anybody in the US, barely spoke English. I had a job with a German company as a financial analyst, and basically worked my way up corporate ladder, advanced fairly quickly in my career. Ultimately became a chief financial officer of a company in Louisiana. That was my first CFO job and been the CFO for the last 10 years of my corporate career. Along the way in 2016, I became unemployed, and one of my CFO jobs was unemployed for about 3 months. I hated the feeling. It was kind of like you're this high flying CFO, and then suddenly like your whole world crashes. And I also realized I there's no cash coming in.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by Marco, who's been making serious moves in the single family residential space. Marco, glad to have you, man. Welcome in.
Hey, great to be here. Love it.
I'm excited
Thank you.
for our talk today. I think our listeners are really going to take good information away from one, how you've approached real estate. You have a particular way that you do it that I think is very interesting because real estate's a big umbrella and there's a lot of ways to go about it. And really understanding who you are and why you want to do this is a critical factor. So let's dive in on that. For people who may not know you yet, what is your main focus right now and what markets are you operating in?
My main focus is single family rentals. My main strategy is the BRRRR, buying properties, fixing them up, renting them, refinancing, which obviously had some challenge in the last 2-3 years, but that's my main focus. And I own rental properties in Florida, Southwest Florida, in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, which lately my main focus is like the coastal area of Mississippi and Alabama.
So a little expansion there. So let's take a step back real quick and hear a little of your story. What got you into real estate in general, and what was that path that led you to the way that you do it now?
Yeah, I'm originally from Germany, so I came to the US when I was 26 years old. Good old American dream story. So I came with two suitcases, $1,500 in my pocket. Never been to the US, didn't know anybody in the US, barely spoke English. I had a job with a German company as a financial analyst, and basically worked my way up corporate ladder, advanced fairly quickly in my career. Ultimately became a chief financial officer of a company in Louisiana. That was my first CFO job and been the CFO for the last 10 years of my corporate career. Along the way in 2016, I became unemployed, and one of my CFO jobs was unemployed for about 3 months. I hated the feeling. It was kind of like you're this high flying CFO, and then suddenly like your whole world crashes. And I also realized there's no cash coming in. I realized kind of like I had saved some money. I was okay, but I realized, hey, not having a constant cash flow is a big deal, and depending on your W-2 is a big deal. So I went all into real estate. So in hindsight, it was a blessing in disguise to be unemployed for 3 months, just kind of like really like focusing, zeroing in on real estate. Learned everything I could, podcast, got some coaching, went to meetups, and found a job. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. Initially, the goal was to have like $3,000 to $4,000 in cash flow. So I figured that covers my basic bills. So if I get ever unemployed again, I'm not gonna have this kick in my stomach. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be more relaxed. And from there, the snowball effect kicked in. So it was 2 properties, 4 properties. Next thing you know, I had 10 properties. And yeah, and it just kept piling up the cash flow. And by 2020, I actually was making more money in real estate than I was making my CFO job. And I quit my corporate career, and was 45 years old at the time. Yeah, and since then I'm a lifestyle investor. So I consider myself a lifestyle investor. It means I'm not really driven by assets under management, how many houses I own or whatsoever. I right now have a portfolio of about 45 to 50 single family properties. Right. But for me, it's all about the cash flow it generates and lets me live the life that I want to live, have the freedom to live kind of life by design. Along the way, I moved to Southwest Florida. I just love the area, Fort Myers area. So I feel blessed I can live in that area. I travel a lot. I'm talking to you right now from Ensenada, Mexico.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So I actually did a road trip from Fort Myers over Jacksonville at a mastermind to Mississippi on a closing. I had a closing in Mississippi on a property. And from there, drove to Las Vegas, spent Christmas there in Las Vegas with my fiance, and then drove from Vegas down through San Diego, down into Ensenada, Mexico, which is about an hour and a half south of San Diego, where I'm at for 3 weeks. And then at one point, I will make my way back to Fort Myers.
Man, what I love about your story is, one, that you've pulled it off. Right. You said a specific term there, lifestyle investor, which if you're listening to this and you're wondering what that term is, it's one of the ways that I mean by there's a lot of ways to do real estate where it really makes sense with how you got into the industry because of that pit in your stomach of when you're pulling against a non-renewable resource for survival of, okay, how do I never feel this way again? How do I make sure that I've got my bases covered? That led to starting to buy houses. And then what's interesting about your story too is it wasn't one you hear a lot of times people just go full-time into real estate and kind of recreate that environment for themselves where they don't have cash flow yet. So you leverage that W-2 into more houses over time, which led to that full-time being able to do real estate 5 years ago. And now 5 years later, you're living the lifestyle dream. You literally just explained it out loud of, you took as much time as you wanted to drive from Fort Myers to Ensenada, Mexico, and you'll get to take as much time as you want driving back. Like, congratulations, man, you did it.
Thank you. And here's the thing about real estate. If you set it up right, if you have the right processes and whatsoever, you can do it from anywhere, and actually
Yeah.
I closed, and this is my first one. I actually I sold a property in the Fort Myers area. And I did that with an online notary. So while I'm in Mexico, I was able to sign all the paperwork with a notary in an online meeting. And yeah, we closed on the property. Everything's right with title company and everything. So you literally can do buying and selling houses and managing your rental portfolio from anywhere if you have the right process. I mean, it's not just like just buy something and it goes by itself. You have to build those processes and have put things in place, have a good network, like the house I sold, there were some issues during the inspection. I have good contractors, they fixed it up. So I didn't have to be there. So yeah, if you have the right network, the right foundation there, you can do this from anywhere, literally.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I agree, man. And for those that like that time freedom where you really want your life back, one thing COVID did was made Zoom calls legitimate. It made the idea
Mhm.
of talking to people this way real. And look at the doors it's opened up, especially with your online notaries, those kind of things. Because before that, you were way more static. I mean, you could get a mobile notary out to certain places, but there were certain places you couldn't be and still do what you wanted to do. So you're absolutely right, man. It's done well, which is what I would encourage if anyone's listening to your story, is look how long it took, right? Real estate is a wonderful get rich slow scheme. And if you set it up well in the middle of it, you actually get the life you want. It takes a little bit more time because there's so many gurus right now and all the things online where, come do this and do that. And you'll have this in this short amount of time. And some people do. There's that 1% of folks, they hit a home run deal out of the gate. Maybe they get 2 or 3. I had a friend, his second deal he ever did was over $100,000 return. It was life-changing money overnight. Like overnight, just whoop, your life just changed in a way, and it's changed forever. It set him up in a way where it did it. So does it happen? Yes. However, we're not after one deal, right? Eventually that 100 grand is going to run out. So how are you setting yourself up with, like you're talking about, the process, your toolkit? Who's in your tool belt where you can make a phone call and then have whatever deal you're struggling with, whatever part, just solved. It's a game
Absolutely.
changer, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, it takes time. It's a process, it takes time. And like you said, there's no get rich quick scheme. There might be one, I think 1% is generous. I don't think even this 1%, it really works out. But it's more like a slow process. But when it's built, it's like like a bamboo, it grows really slow, in the beginning, and then at one point it just shoots up like crazy. So it's like this. You build this slow foundation, and then I keep referring to it as the snowball effect. That's how I like, because it just keeps rolling. You make more money, make more cash, or the more cash you make, the sooner you save up to buy your next property. So it's just this becomes this self-propelling machine.
the term you just used there for cash flow in our pre-recording, that's what you were talking about, was your main focus with a house. So let's dig into that for a second on what it is that you look for, what's the minimum cash flow you're going to expect? Like what makes you pull the trigger on a deal?
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I'm a CFO before, so people talk to me, they think like I have this elaborate financial model, with IRR calculations and this whatsoever. I have actually very, very simple. Because one thing I learned as a CFO is like whatever model I have, whatever I calculate, it's never going to come out that way. So yeah, it looks sophisticated, it looks all that. So but I've never done a budget in my life that actually came in what I budgeted the next year. It's yeah. Anyway, so I'm very simple. So mine is 10% cash on cash. So if I can generate, let's say I invest $50,000 with down payment or renovations or whatsoever. Let's say for simplicity, $200,000 house, I need $50,000 for the down payment. Doesn't need any work. Ideally, I cash flow $5,000 over the year, over the 12 months, which means 400 more or less a month. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. Is the 10% and at a minimum $300. So even if let's say I buy a house for $100,000 and I would get 20% or whatever, but the cash flow is less than 300, I'm not gonna do it either.
Gotcha.
It just takes too long to build up. So the 10% and $300 minimum. That's kind of two gauges, and then if I hit those, I'm in.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I love that minimum. That's not one that I hear very often, is putting in that minimum. Cause you're right. You could get, oh, I'm getting 20% on this deal, but it's $200. It's okay, great. Like, and it's going to take forever. That's not going to work out as quick as you'd hope it to. So I love how you're balancing it on both sides. You got this minimum percentage you want, but also this minimum cash per month you want, so that it creates that North Star. Because really the reason I wanted you to say that is for others to know it's almost like a buy box in a way. When you know what you're looking for, you can say no way faster to everything else. Cause that's kind of what people run into. Is you got to say yes and get off the bench to get into this business. But once you learn how to say yes, then you got to learn how to say no fast, because opportunities, you see, they're around. They're going to get put in front of you. And if you don't have that guiding light, you start to take risks that you weren't willing to take before. You start, like you're talking about, you made a budget that never stuck. And that's where I see a lot of investors get in themselves in a pinch. Is they base so many things on, well, if this does this and this does this and that does that, then, oh, this is going to work out. And it's like, well, the moment it takes more things for it to go right, the chances of it going wrong are exponentially increasing.
Yeah, or vice versa. They put so many factors in that at one point they make the deal look bad. So you did you account
Excellent
for
point.
5%, maybe 10% vacancy, repair budget, maybe 5%, maybe 8%. Well, and then and if you put enough factors, you can make any deal look bad, or look as bad deal look good. It's just I just like to keep it simple, and like you said, you have to be able to say no. I learned that too. When you get a lot of deals, it's just when I see something, it usually takes me less than a minute to assess if I'm even interested or not. So based on those numbers in my head, what is it going to cost me to renovate this place? $20,000. My down payment is $30,000. Okay, I'm all in for 50. I'm going to rent it for whatever, $2,000. My mortgage all in, it's going to be 1,500. Okay, that's going to work. Or
Gotcha.
it's going to be 1,700 in rent, and I'm all in for 1,500. It's like, it's just not, because every deal you do is work. Yes, you have process in place, but you got to inspect the place, you got to line up the contractors, you got to manage the contractors, you got to do the closing, you got to get the cash, you got to do this and that. It's just, there's a lot of steps in that whole process of buying one property, and if it's not worth it, if it doesn't tilt the needle, I just don't want to spend my time. And I think that's one of the benefits of being a lifestyle investor. I don't have a fund. I don't have to tell people I own 100 houses, 200 houses. I want to own 500 houses. Those numbers are not relevant for me, but there's people it is. And then they're willing to, like, kind of come deal junkies, kind of like want to do a deal and just to hit those numbers.
Yeah.
Um, but
I've
I think it's
heard them
kind of,
referred to as deal bros in the past. Like, how many deals do you
yeah.
do? It's a popular question you'll hear at different groups and meetups. And it's like this thing people try to measure them by. And it's like, well, how many deals you do that actually worked? What's your real position like? Because you could have done 100 deals and have
Why you have
zero
to
money.
chase so many deals? You don't have enough money. You don't make enough money yet. Why do you have to chase so many deals? So
Right. And that's where it lines up with too, how flexible real estate can be, where if you want to build that business where you have large overhead and teams and the CEO and you have to get these deals, it's an option. And that's really where personality lines up so much with it. What is it that you actually want to do in this industry? And then learn what invert from there. Okay, if I want this, I need to take these steps backwards. And then you'll
Yeah,
pull it off,
you bring up
right?
a great point because for me, one of the reasons I wanted to do real estate full time was that I to don't have a big team. You know, I've been a CFO. I had teams of 20, 30 people working for me. And I was kind of worn out and was kind of burned out, you know, and I was like, I know other real estate investors, and I'm sure you know it too. They have these big teams, they have 20, 30 people, they have acquisition manager, they have a disposition manager, they have this, they have that. And it's great for them, you know. I mean, and like you said, anybody what works for you whatsoever. For me, it sounds awful. I don't want to
Right.
do that. So
Right. And that's where
I rather
what I
sit in Ensenada, eat some fish tacos, you know, and do a remote closing on the computer.
exactly.
But anybody,
And what I
again, that's how I'm wired. If you're wired like you want to build, you want to have a 1,000 property portfolio, or you want to make $1 million every year, go for it. You know, whatever drives you.
that's exactly it right there. Because what I've learned about the people that build those businesses, real estate's simply the commodity they chose. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Whatever they were gonna do, whatever like did it for them, they were going to build a business in that world because that's their mentality. It's what they want to do. And you're right. In my opinion, I don't think most people want the large teams. There's not that many big companies in the nation. I worked with a company one time, we actually measured it to see how many people out there are doing 40 deals a year or more. There ain't many, honestly. And to do that many and more, you need a very specific system and process. And there's 50 different positions, 50 inside a scaled real estate company. So it's like there's a very specific thing you got to want and understand. And a lot of folks get on that train and then realize I didn't want to manage this many people. This isn't really what I was after. I was after time freedom. I was after this. And that's one thing when I'm talking to somebody about real estate, I really try to hit home is what is it that you're trying to do? I'm not worried about your why so much. Like start with why and all that. That's a different conversation. That's more existential. This is like what actually do you want to do each day? What does it
Yeah,
for you? Do you want to go to your
yeah.
office and see your team and rile them up? Okay. We got to build this. You want to go to Ensenada and take a long road trip? Okay. You got to do this. So let's talk about what you're thinking for 2026. What are some opportunities that you're feeling are out there? And also, what are some challenges that you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, just for me as a cash flow investor, but I think for any real estate investor, even if you're a flipper or if you're chasing appreciation or whatsoever, I think for them even worse. Last 2 years have been challenging. They've not been bad. I mean, I'm not struggling. I'm not losing house or anything like that. But it just the rent growth and appreciation was so strong between 20 and 23, and now with interest rates higher, I mean, they come down a little bit. They increased quite a bit. It's just the whole market was kind of not standstill. I don't kind of standstill. Kind of just didn't move too much. On top, as a single family investor, you also have to deal with a lot of multifamily. I mean, we had the most multifamily coming on market in 2025, I think, ever in history. Just hundred thousands of units, probably I don't know the exact number, but six, 700,000 or something like that in 1 year. I mean, it's just an absurd number. So those are some of the challenges. I think 26 is still going to be a little bit of a transition year. I think we're going to see lower interest rates. We're going to see some appreciation again. At the same time, also the economy, I think, is not as good as we're told. I mean, if you watch the mainstream media, GDP grows by 4.5%, inflation is in check, and all this stuff. And but if you're in the trenches, if you talk to your tenants and you've talked to your contractors, that's not the story, or at least not the story that I hear. But people are struggling. I mean, yes, maybe inflation is only 2% this year, but it was 30% in the last 4 or 5 years, and your salary didn't go up 30%. You know, so it's
Exactly.
so people are struggling. So I think it's a little bit, it's kind of mixed bag. Is I think the interest rate's going to help. There's going to be more money flowing into investments, so that's going to help. At the same time, you're going to have people in general struggling um, with making the rent payments and whatsoever. So my focus is I used to own, well, my philosophy was to own like mostly newer. When I say newer, like 1990s and up, and most of my homes rent for $2,000 and more, or used to. But I kind of shifted a little bit, so I bought more lately, last 2 3 years, more homes that more in the 15, 17, $1,800 ranges in my markets. And I see a lot of demand still there. So that's going to be my focus. Buying, for instance, Mississippi, you can buy homes for between 150 and 180, which rent for $1,600, $1,800. That's going to be my main focus, as it was this year. It's going to be last year too. I built some houses too, did well with it, but I'm probably not gonna build another house in 26 just to see how things are going. And I think a lot of markets also see an oversupply. And you're in Florida, I'm in Florida, and we're not we're kind of almost opposite parts of Florida, and you see the same thing as I see. Is there's just a lot of supply that came on the market, and I think it just has to be absorbed. I still, wherever I invest, I still feel good about it. I feel good about Florida. It's just that inventory has to be absorbed. And then I think 2027 is going to be a much better year. But 2026 should be, there's definitely lots of opportunities still. When I say, okay, some striving was there, there's still opportunities. I strongly, even if there was a crash tomorrow, I still believe there's, especially in a crash, there will be tons of opportunities. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. When did you notice that shift to, I need to maybe go for that lower rental, for that, what was it that started to show you like, okay, wait a second, were they sitting longer on the market, not renting out, or you just noticed that this
No,
pocket
I
had more
saw, I
people in it?
saw, I saw two things. One is, yes, I had some homes like in the market I'm in Mississippi. The type of single family I do, which kind of still the white collar, blue collar average home. A lot of them are on the high end, which is $2,200. It's kind of the 22, 2300. It's like the higher end on that market. And I saw these homes sitting a little bit longer. During COVID, those homes were ended within a day, and then suddenly in 24 was like a month and a half. But I owned homes in that same market for like that were in for $1,600, $1,700. And every time I put them on the market, they were still renting within a day or 3 days. So I'm like, okay, so the consumer has some problems. There's a huge demand for, and here's the thing is, like, as an investor, I think you always have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. You shouldn't, it's good to have a strategy and follow that strategy, but that strategy should be evaluated on an ongoing basis. It's like,
Mm,
okay, what worked in 2022, 20 doesn't work necessarily in 25, and that's kind of, for me, it's one of my pet peeves too. When I listen to like real estate podcasts and someone tells, well, in 2010 I bought these foreclosed properties for like $60,000 and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, that's nice for you, but that's not where we are today. That information doesn't help me today, and it's kind of misleading anybody who wants to get into it. I mean, you have to pay attention and adjust and evolve in your strategy. So yes, I felt
I think
like
you're absolutely right
I
there.
saw a lot of, I felt a lot. I felt how the market is shifting, and that's my focus. So anything I bought in that market in the last 2 years is rents for like between 650. The lowest I have is 16 and 1800. It's kind of that range I'm in.
That makes sense too, because it's real estate's a market and it's volatile and it goes up and down. It lives in a cycle, and you're right on the money with it. You may have this strategy, but if you're swinging a hammer and you need an axe, like, you got the wrong tool.
Yeah.
You can't just hit everything like it's a nail, because it's not all a nail. And having that mindset to adjust, because I mean, that probably went a long way into expanding markets, right? Where you only focusing around yourself originally and then went to
No,
outside of Florida.
I was always in different states. It kind of grew through my job and also my idea of one day being a lifestyle investor. So I lived in, when I started doing real estate, I lived in Huntsville, Alabama. So I bought properties there. My first major multifamily was in Mobile, Alabama. It was in 2020. I bought a 40 unit with a business partner. And when I got into that market, I learned single family is very strong there too. So I bought there. At one point, I moved to Mobile because that we bought another multifamily. Both were in distress. So my business partner, we both moved to Mobile just to overlook it, and it turned out good. We did very well. We exited in 22, but that's how I got into Mobile, and then Mississippi is right next there. And in the Fort Myers area, actually, my first property was my second one probably ever was in Fort Myers because I came here since 2011. I had a good friend from Germany. He came here every year. We did like a 1 week a year here. His sister lived in the Fort Myers area, and I loved the place, you know. And I was in 2011. I came like, man, I should buy something. 12, I should buy something. Every year I came, prices went up a little bit more. And then in 16, I finally pulled the trigger. And the idea was, okay, and I hadn't really that real estate vision, but the idea was in my corporate job, one day I want to retire, maybe at 55, you know, if I do everything well. And then if you have like 10 properties in Fort Myers, would be nice while you retire. So that's kind of how it started. Just really liked the area. And that's why I also moved to ultimately.
Well, it makes sense, especially leading down that lifestyle path. So I love what you've been able to do, man. You came to America, used the American dream, changed your life forever, and now you're out there. One thing I appreciate about today is just this real information. Like you said, a lot of times you hear information from people on podcast, which is more like a resume instead of a here's how actually what's going on currently. So I really appreciate you doing that. If someone wanted to connect with you or learn more from you, what's the best way for them to find you?
Best way is LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, got quite a following there. I post about real estate, but I also talk about general business and taxes. I won't touch that budgetly, but it's on something I feel strong about. I post a lot about it. And I mean, that's one of the other reasons in real estate why I'm in is, to be honest, is the tax part. I don't want to overspend it. But yeah, LinkedIn, Marco Pfeiffer is my name. I'm sure it's in the show note, my name. Reach out to me, connect with me. And yeah, appreciate the opportunity to be on here. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely, man. I really enjoyed it myself. Love your story, your perspective, what you're doing. I think we need more people in the space doing it like you do it, just getting out there, building a real business. So for those of you that are listening, you got value from today's episode, please like the episode, subscribe to our podcast. Again, his LinkedIn link will be in the show notes. So check that out if you want to follow him there. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Marco who are out there building that business they want or the life that they want. So we thank you for watching. Join us on the next one. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.